Welcome to the Brain Soul Success Show, where we learn, explore, and create your powerful, positive healing for life. I'm your host, Louise Schwartzwalter. I'm the creator of a 5-part mind, body, soul methodology that clears the subconscious blocks to success. From engaging transformational interviews, brain soul success stories, and the secrets shared by brain and spiritual experts, you will reconnect, revitalize, and transform your powerful life. It's time for you. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Louise Schwartzwalter, and this is the Brain Soul Success Show. This is called our Round Table, and we are here with some amazing, powerful women who we've been getting together with for, the last 3 or 4 months here, just having conversation about how to help you all more in your businesses and in your life. So these amazing women are high-powered coaches. They've been out in the world helping lots of people, and especially during this time right now during, during COVID-19. So of course there's a little bit of that discussion just because of the timing that we're in now. But I'd love for you all to introduce yourself and let us know, what you do in the world so we can connect with you. Yes. Who would like to start?
Hi, I'm Yalonda Haywood, and I work with high-performing women in business, leadership, to really help them break down the walls that are holding them back so they can get what they want out of life. So you can say I do business coaching, life coaching, corporate training. I just like to work to help clear the airways so we can get it done.
Ooh, awesome. Awesome. Yes, well, I'm glad you're here with us. Thank you, Yalonda. And Trina, share with us what you do.
Hi, my name is Trina Rice. I have the Energetic Signature Formula and the Misfit Squad, where we help the different ones, like the misfits, those who may be on or off the spectrum, basically so that they feel understood and they can get out of the anxiety and the overwhelm and actually become empowered and identify their strengths so they can get it done.
That's awesome.
Well,
thank you, Trina, for the good work that you're doing in the world too. I mean, that's such an powerful, goal and what you're doing and mission with those kids. Not everyone can connect with those people the way that you do. So I want you've done such a great job with that. So thanks for being here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. And Sinclair, we'd love to hear from you. What are you doing in the world and how are you today?
Sinclair Kennally. I'm the CEO and founder of Vision Nation, and we help folks who want to live consciously to detox to thrive. So that's recovering from serious issues as well as just reclaiming your full aliveness.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. And the good work that you're doing in the world and the people you're touching. I mean, again, you guys are all so completely amazingly powerful. And this little group that we have here, y'all, if you're listening to this and that y'all came out, and I'm not even from the South, but
I'm laughing. I'm like,
y'all,
you never say y'all.
I just want our listeners to know what the treat they're in for today with all of you. And most of you know me, but if you don't, I'm Dr. Louise Schwartzwalter, and I own Brain Soul Success. And so I work with frustrated entrepreneurs, helping them clear those success blocks, and up-leveling their life and their businesses, and helping them get truly back to their authentic self so they can be aligned and shine in the world. And so that's my passion. And you can see from just listening to Yalonda and Trina and Sinclair here that we all have sort of similar goals in the world, even though there might be different doorways, that we're moving in to get there. Definitely. And so during this time, it is a kind of an interesting time on the planet. We still have a lot of uncertainty out there, and as leaders right now, we're really being called to be creative. To be creative and to figure out how to thrive in our own businesses and hold steady and hold firm while supporting others as well. So how do you utilize that internal mentoring? How do you stay strong and also listen to that guidance that you're given, and serve your customers, serve your clients at this time. Who would like to speak on that, Sinclair?
Well, one of my mentors, Steve Gilligan, who's just an incredible thought leader in the personal development and change space, he taught me to hold equal amount of space for myself and the person sitting in front of me. And that's the concept I keep coming back to again and again when I think about serving our audience and our clients, or, you know, listening to the marketplace, and just making sure that I'm breathing deep and that I am at least 50% present for myself and 50% present for them. And I'm not ready to listen or take action until I'm aware of both at the same time, because otherwise I'll be taking care of them from an off-centered place, or, you know, just in my own stuff and not listening deeply enough to what's really going on for everybody else. So it's a balancing act.
It is a balancing act, and that's some, you know, that's some great wisdom. I have another question around that though. How do you do that? You know, I'm sure people have different ways of staying balanced and being able to be present for other people. What do you do to help yourself get there?
Well, for me, getting present in the moment, I use the body and somatic awareness because it's just the fastest way. Otherwise, it's easy to jump forward or backward in time if I'm just in my mind. So I get right into the body. I feel my feet on the floor. I feel my butt in the chair, and feel into my solar plexus in my heart. And I deep breathe until I become aware of my own body and the sensations in it. And, you know, sensations will come up, but I don't need to go into story about them or interpret that or, you know, any of that. That's not what I'm doing in that moment. I'm just becoming aware of sensation in this moment, breathing deep, and then expanding my awareness, kind of like the principles of Aikido, expanding my awareness beyond those energy centers to the person in front of me. And that might just be my audience, my email list in my mind's eye. You know, it's not necessarily with just one-to-one clients.
Awesome. Awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah. Great tip. Great tip on how to be present. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And Yalonda, how do you stay present for your clients?
Trina,
Listening to your internal.
Can you hear me?
we can now.
Okay.
Your internal voice. You know, how do you do that?
I'm just asking you because you guys keep fading in and out like volume, or Louise does.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, we hear you.
Okay.
We can hear your internal voice, so tell us what it's saying, because that's a whole nother show. So,
you know, what I do is I just sit and stare at people. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna tell y'all, we started talking about hearing your internal voice, and I'm getting off the show. We're done.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So really, it's a lot of what Sinclair was saying is what I was going to talk about, is being present and having a presence of yourself and the presence of the other person. And presence, like PRESENCE, it's not a state that you arrive at. It's a continual choice to stay with something that you're with like having no real point of view and not having your defenses up or your barriers, whatever you may want to call them, and the willingness to actually be in that given moment and to perceive and receive everything around you. And I know with like all the stuff that we've got going on and all the changes that are occurring with businesses and stuff, like sometimes being present is not the easiest freaking thing to do.
Right.
At all.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's kind of what Sinclair was saying is actually connecting with your body, because I personally do this a lot, and a lot of the people I work with, when all that's going on and you are aware of the turmoil or the trauma and the drama or the upset intrigue, you have a tendency to actually like want to like leave, whether that's physically leave and go someplace else, or spiritually, mentally, however you want to look at it, where you actually almost like disassociate from your body.
Mm-hmm.
So like getting grounded, however you want to say that, back in more present with your body. And one way I do that is actually just wherever you want to put your hands, like if you're on your heart or on your face, and really become present with yourself so that you can be present with another person. And when I do that, I'm like, I feel my hands on, like, for instance, I feel my hands on my face. And then I also feel my face on my hands and really become aware of that and thank my body for being here and being with me, no matter how much I sometimes judge it. And by doing that, it allows me to become more present with every given moment.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that body awareness. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of the face. I do there. So I like that. I'm going to try it. Thank you. That's how my cheeks got so fat, you know? Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Trina. You can tell we're in a little kind of goofy mood today, but it's all good, right? And Yolanda, how do you stay present for your clients and honor that inner guidance, right? While still really being present for your people?
I really would say I give myself permission to be human and to feel, because I think there's this expectation or this thought or sometimes even this unrealistic stretch goal we have for ourselves that we just have to show up in perfection. And I can't always show up in perfection. So I allow myself to be human, allow myself to feel. I had a client on yesterday, and before the meeting with my client, I had another very stressful meeting before then. And I felt the stress. I didn't have the time to transition. And so when I got on the video conference with her, I said, "Oh, I just had a tough meeting." And I laughed. We laughed. I believe laughter does the soul good like medicine. I take all of the things that I'm feeling that are heavy, and I really believe that I cast my cares upon the one who cares for me. So I transition that weight and I let it go. I know where I hold tension in my body, so I'm sensitive to it. And if I feel it, that means keep decompressing until I get to the place where, all right, now we're ready, let's work. And if that means it took an extra 5 or 6 minutes at the beginning of the call, I'll add it on to the end of the call. It's okay. But at least I am present. My head is clear. My heart is open. And I'm in a place where I'm really ready to serve my client.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. You can tell that you're working that really well. You know,
I'm trying.
You're doing it. You're doing it. I can feel it. I can feel that you're doing it. What I liked what you said about is being human.
Mm-hmm.
I found too that just being vulnerable and connecting with people and sharing a part of what I'm going through sometimes, it's kind of like the Me Too's.
Yeah.
It helps you relate with your people because they know that you're not 100% all the time either during this time.
Correct.
You know,
it's the
and
transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah, that transparency creates vulnerability that reminds those that we serve that, I have to get it done just like you have to get it done. And so we all have our ups and we have some moments where it goes like this and then we go back, but it's okay. Everything that goes down comes back up again.
Right. Absolutely. It's that trust factor, isn't it? It's faith and trust, so we all have to hold that faith and that trust up at a higher level because that's what you're aspiring your people to do.
Definitely.
So I know that, and you guys know I do energy work. So I use energy tools, I clear myself between clients, and I share my heart. I share what's going on. So if it fits, it has to be the right kind of fit in the conversation. Yeah. And that helps too. Yeah. As we're being called to be creative during this time, some of the words that have been used are shifting, pivoting, what's happened in your business, whether you like those words or not, that's what's going on. There's a change happening on the planet. We're being called to change how we do business. We're being called to move online if we were going to have events, so I know that's one of the things I'm learning right now. So what has been like a change or a shift that's been happening for you, or a direction maybe you're going in your business that's different, that that, you know, that you can share here in a way that it might spark someone else who's listening to know that they can either do that too, or it gives them a piece to be creative. Yeah. Sinclair, what do you think about that? What's changed for you, or what's your kind of shifting that's happening in your world?
Well, our audience made it really easy for us to figure that out because they immediately and loudly self-sorted into two camps.
Okay.
And
Okay.
one of them was, oh my God, everything is changing. I need you. I need a deep dive. I need to clear out. I need to actually put my health first. Nothing is more important than that. I need to finally take care of myself. Tell me what to do. And then the second camp was, oh wow, I was planning on taking care of myself more deeply, but can you just give me something to start on that's really simple? I just need simplicity right now. I need ease. Can you make this less complicated for me? I really need you. So those are the two camps. And so we've been changing up our package sizes and our classes. And we've actually redesigned our foundational group offering from an 8-week deep dive intensive to a 30-day just get started, you know, you're safe, come on in, so that people feel held. But it's really easy. You know, the 8-week deep dive used to be like, you gotta juice, you gotta do all these things. And this is, hey, you can use these powders. We've vetted them for you. You know, you can juice if you want to, if you're up for it. It's okay if you're not. If you can put water and powder in a bottle, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
What is the basic level of support, you know? And I'm also trying to figure out how to support the people that need the deep dive, have a wider range of needs, and not burning ourselves out in the process, because it's been a strong wave. Let's just put it that way.
Wow. You know, that's great though. I love how you figured that out. You know, like you said, you listen to your clients, you listen to your people. You know, that's the best way to move forward in a business, is give them what they need and what they want, you know, at this particular time. Very cool. I'd probably be halfway between juices and powders. I'd have to do both.
Me too. I do. Yeah. But I would say, don't be afraid to ask. What do you need? Because we've been through this with our larger businesses in 2008, and so we were like ready to ask the questions. Okay, what's changed for you? What do you need? How can we support you? And don't be afraid to ask.
Exactly. Very good. Yep. So ask. Great advice. Yep. Find out what they need. Absolutely. And what shift or pivot has happened for you, you know, in your business, in your world, Trina, that you can share with us here?
You know, a lot of it has been what we were just talking about, being in the moment and asking, like almost in every 10 seconds, because it seems to constantly change. But really, I've reached out to people of like, what is required? What are you asking for? And, you know, like for packages as well as even personal sessions, because a lot of people right now, it seems like it's kind of like what Sinclair was saying. They're either asking for a deep dive into something because they're like, oh my gosh, it's time for me to like go inside and really pay attention to those things that I have not been. And other people kind of just, they want something to get them through this time. And neither one is right or wrong. It's just where everybody is at. And so really people have been asking, and there's some things that, you know, I do online. And then there's some things like if it's a one person and it's possible, I will work with that person. And it's really being in the question of what works for you and honoring yourself, as well as honoring the people that you're around and with. And I've even, besides coaching, even in my therapy business and working with like kids on the spectrum, it's the same way. And it's been very interesting because, you know, obviously a lot has come up because the schools are shut down, and doing the in-home schooling is a whole nother ball game, especially if parents have to work. And sometimes they just need the space, and they need somebody just to give them, like, it's okay, and the tools to get through that. So it's like, and not making themselves wrong for not doing it perfectly and getting the homeschooling done. As
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Yeah.
it's almost like an impossibility, you know. But there's a lot of parents who are stressed out about it, and then the kids get more stressed, and then nothing ever gets done. And it's more of like, hey, what can we do to make this fun? So
good question.
I called you last night.
Yay.
So,
Great.
Sidebar. I sat down with my son, my youngest son, last night, and I'm like, okay, the school year is about to wrap up. Let's make sure you're on target. And I promise, like, I've been the mom that's been trying to be there. And all of these assignments we missed. And I was like, wait, that was due April 17th. Oh, wait, that was due 2 weeks ago. What? And so we had to make a list. And I decided not to get stressed out because it would have stressed him out. And I was like, you know what, buddy? We're just going to catch up. We're going to do it a little in the morning. Then we're going to have a great breakfast. And then we're going to keep going. And it's just so important. The work you're doing is so amazing right now because so many people need that support. And they weren't necessarily ready for this pivot or shift. So it's such a gift, a true gift. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Because you're touching so many people. I mean, so many people who are in that same boat.
Yeah. And really one of the biggest things is because even the school districts, nobody knows. Like, it's like this whole unknown thing, and like stuff that, I'll say it, stuff that should be mandated is not being mandated, and it's okay, and what if that is actually okay? Like, it's kind of like, hey, what is required? And it's the whole thing that we're talking about. It's getting present with every moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is getting present with every moment. And then it sounds like you're doing such a great job supporting parents, Trina, on this path and helping them make it fun and ask the right questions and be present for their kids, but not stressed out over it. So, wow, super powerful. Super powerful. Thank you. Gosh, can you package that into a powder mix, maybe? I don't know.
Take it up in the bottle.
Yeah.
Powder mix.
Here's your stress reliever. I don't know. I have supplements like that, but I was just thinking out loud here because, parents need help that's quick. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. And so, Yalonda, what's happened for you in terms of, shifting right now, pivoting, in your business? What's changed? What's changed for you?
It's interesting because the structure of our companies really didn't change. Only one, I have a restaurant, so that's a whole nother story for another day. How we're going to continue to shift there. But I think the biggest pivot and shift was being okay with not knowing. Because there's just so many days where I don't know. It's one thing to really, truly be the CEO and to have plans and to have goals and to have it laid out and everything is working perfectly. And then you hit a place where there are external factors that are impacting the plan and you don't know. And I had to be okay with not knowing. I had to be okay with the space that was being created while still staying in motion. And I think that's really, if you want to say the recipe, I don't know, but I'm going to stay in motion. And what I'm finding is by staying in motion, sometimes the space that was created was needed for what we found by being in motion.
Yes.
So,
good point.
And it's okay, where before we weren't very custom. Going back to what you all said is, what do you need? Okay, yeah, we're going to customize that because I had to go back to the heart of why do I do what I do? And that's to service the people. That is to make sure that I'm bench strength for someone else's vision and that they have what they need. And if they don't know what they need right now and we've got to figure it out, then it's okay. You don't have to know, I don't know, this is what we're going to do and it's just going to work out. And I'm finding it's working. And I don't know what it's going to look like in 90 days. I probably don't know what it's going to look like next week, but definitely not in 90 days. But I mean, we're staying strong. For the rivers that are flowing, we're letting them flow. And for those that are just in a place that, okay, we can't operate, we can't open the doors, it's okay. And it's going to work out one way or another.
Mm-hmm. You got steadfast faith.
I have to.
You do.
Yeah.
It's present. It's obvious. You know, I love listening to you, and I love how you talked about holding. It's holding that space.
Holding the space.
It's holding the space, and it's the unknowing. It's just being okay with the unknowing.
And this keeps me grounded, because when I'm unsure and I feel sometimes the insecurity or the little me will come, I open the pages of this and I remember how much I have to be grateful for. And it reminds me how many times I didn't know and it still worked out. It was still okay. It is just like a reminder that all things will work together for my good. And it just gives me a different peace and a different posture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that faith. Yeah, I love what you just said about that space. Absolutely creating that space. Yeah. You know, for me, it was interesting because I have a very strong intuition and I listen to it. And I remember feeling so called to do clear the fear, keep the faith.
Yeah, I remember.
And I have no idea why. I just was like, I have to do this now, you know? And so we ended up just doing this big class online and then did a second one because people got kicked off my Zoom account. Because I didn't know I was going to have that many people. And what it did is it showed me that the online pieces of my business were actually bigger than I thought. Mm-hmm. You know, because I own a brick and mortar too. So that was my shift or my pivot was, hey, I can serve people on this deep level still with classes. Even though I've been doing them, it felt bigger or something changed. So again, just like Sinclair was saying, you know, and Trina and Yalonda, I was listening to my people. You know, I was just listening to what they needed and what they wanted. The next thing's going to be a love fest. You're all invited. I don't know when it's going to happen yet, but I have to do it. And the other change for me, and I'm learning how to do this, and it's working pretty well. So I just want to put it out there to all of you who are listening. I've learned to do an event online. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been doing in-person events for the last 5 years here. Actually 20, but in the model that I'm using now, and it's working and it's really awesome, and we've had great connection with these people, and so I have suggestions, you know, along the way that I'm learning, and of course I keep learning more. So definitely reach out to me if you need help with that, because I'm finding that to be more fun than I thought. Awesome. You know, so that's really, really good. So on that same note, I just would really like to ask you, I know we shared some things about what you feel would help other entrepreneurs during this time, but what's another little tidbit about that? You know, another little piece of information, advice that you feel might help other entrepreneurs right now. What do you say or have about that?
I would say simplify.
Okay.
Use this time. Because, you know, really we may be in the first wave of cultural and economical transition, you know, and this could go on for a while. Nobody's got a crystal ball. So whatever is no longer necessary in your business and in your process, put it to bed now, because you want to stay open to the shifting markets, to the shifting culture, and just be easier on yourself, you know, so prioritize your precious bandwidth. And you might have a bunch of ideas and a bunch of conflicting advice coming for how to deal with this time. Pick one or two things and keep it simple.
That's great advice. I think I need to take your advice as I'm looking at the pieces of my business. That's such great wisdom.
I feel that. I feel, you know, I've been sitting up at night sometimes saying, how do I simplify? How do I simplify? Mm-hmm. Even, I mean, down to the smallest aspects of the overall brand. We have a parent brand and many subsidiaries, and it was, how do we simplify even more? Mm-hmm. Just finding that need. I probably cleaned the house so many times. I've cleaned out closets. I've thrown all my kids' stuff away. There was nothing left now but to start simplifying the business. The only thing left will be get rid of people, and we got to keep them. see the need to declutter, simplify, streamline. So thank you for that confirmation, Sinclair. That was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Only
too.
just because I need it too. So
I love it. I love it too. I love it too. I got on a rampage yesterday and I cleaned out the refrigerator.
Mm.
Yeah, all the old stuff in
How did
there.
that
It
feel
was
good?
awesome. Oh, geez.
Okay.
Actually, my husband
Great.
did a lot of it, but we had to do it. It was just time, you know. So it's good. Thank you for that, Sinclair. That's awesome. So simplified. Trina, do you have, a suggestion for entrepreneurs right now?
Take out the trash.
Take out the trash. Okay, we're all on the same page here, I guess.
Really, it is a lot of simplifying and getting down to the core of what is being asked for and required and what people can receive, because right now with the entourage of everything, some people are a little overwhelmed, and and even with doing some stuff with a parenting group that I'm in, it really has been, I'm like, okay, doesn't everybody know this stuff? And not everybody does. And also, if you know it, sometimes you need to rehear it, because now is a time and a space where you can hear something in a different way and receive it in a different way. So it does come down to simplifying and just giving little tidbits of information that's required so people can digest it.
Yes, bite size, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too much is too much, isn't it? Yes. Yes. Very good. Love that. Okay, so that bite-sized pieces. Good one. Great. And Yalonda, how about you? Any tips for entrepreneurs right now?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I wrote it down as soon as you asked the question, because this is what came up.
Okay.
Motivated to ask and answer without motivation. So a lot of times we don't ask for the help. We don't ask for the information. We don't ask what have worked for you, because again, that pressure of we're supposed to know. So be motivated to ask. And when someone reaches out and they ask those questions, answer them with no motives. Answer without wanting something in return. Answer without it having to be reciprocated to you in an exchange. I gave you this, so give me this. Just simply answer without motive. So I would say ask and answer in the purest way.
Mm.
Ooh, nice. Ask and answer in the purest way. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow, some great tips for entrepreneurs here, and great advice that you all have today on how to be creative, how to pivot, how to shift, how to be present for our people, for our your customers, people you're working with. Anything that you learned from this time that we haven't discussed yet that you want to share?
Mm-hmm. I got it.
Yes, Yalonda.
You know what I learned? I learned to trust myself, because honestly, it was the time leading up to this time that I followed my gut and my intuition that set me up for some of the success that I'm seeing now. And if I would have doubted myself then, I wouldn't be as sure as I am right now. So trust yourself. I think that's what I learned. I learned that, wow, even though I went against the status quo, and even though I did what was not normal, or I went outside of the box and I didn't ask for permission or approval, I was doing the right thing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that. So trust yourself. Yes. Yes. Sinclair?
That's so funny you say that, Yalonda, because I was just like a woman on a mission for the last 18 months. I have got to get these next pieces in place, and because something is coming. And I thought it was an internal something, and it turns out it's everybody something. But it feels good to know and to nurture that internal guidance and listen to it all the way along. And it's okay that there were several failures along the way. And to just know that there's no replacement for being able to listen to what you need on the inside. And that's part of why we're saying to simplify, guys, because you may try things that don't work, but they lead to the next thing. So it's all good. it's all good information.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Claire, that's good. You know, it's been exactly 18 months that I was on that press. The last 18 months, we might be soul sisters. Wait till the show
You know that.
18 months.
Don't even.
It's been exactly 18 months, and I'm like, get it in place, get this done. Is that okay?
Hey, okay, someone do the math for me. When was 18 months ago?
Last October 2018.
Yeah. I'd say October, November.
October 2018. Okay.
Somewhere around there,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I love how intuitive you all are. I mean, you're my tribe too, because I attract those people who are so intuitive, and it's just been amazing. Yeah, I have felt a shift, just a pull. I was on if you think about this, well, this is where I was. You guys can see if you relate. I feel like before this all happened, I was on this rat race wheel, this little hamster wheel. I was like, pushing myself, creating, boom, 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 trying to move forward. I had all these little goals for myself, and it was like pushing. And it didn't feel right, but it felt right. There was something about it. It's like, maybe I did know that there was going to be some big thing I don't know. I just know that it felt almost like I had a letdown or a way to relax finally, because we had to be home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Mm-hmm. So that was really, really different, really unique experience, because I'm pretty type A. So that was fun to realize and to have to shift. So yeah. How about you, Trina?
Well, I would just, it's kind of like what we talked about before. It's like what Yalonda said. It really is trust, and also being aware of like your inner knowing, and being also okay with not knowing, because in the not knowing is where all the different possibilities and all the things that show up. Because if you try to figure it all out, then it's like you miss out on part of the adventure. And but that being said, you also still know, because that's your gut and that's that trust. So that's been kind of my journey, is like, I realized, kind of like we talked about before, like last April, everything started falling apart for me, like with my therapy business, with everything else. And I've known for like the past 5 years to get crap together, but I've also been delaying. And then in April, like, I was like, shit, excuse me.
It's real. It's okay.
Yeah, that's real. That's how it feels.
You're live. We can't even rewind this one. We can't even bleep you out.
Is like, it really did feel like a rat race, and I felt like I was always like sometimes pushing so much. And so this time for me has really been just like a letting go and being like, okay, it's not done. I haven't gotten to where I really thought I'd be, and like, it's also okay, because I've also needed that space. And one of the things that's come up for me is, like you said that, Louise, is about like the pushing. And I've also like looked at all the stuff online, and sometimes there's a lot of shove with it and a lot of push with some people, where they're really pushing at you to do this or do that. And then what that creates, at least for me, is the resistance to it.
Oh yeah.
Where instead of being in this presence that we're talking about, you're like, is it now time? Is now the time?
Mm-hmm.
And to come and do it in a different way, like we're saying, like listening to what your people are asking for, and listening to what you yourself and your body's also asking for. So for me, it's really been choice and choosing. And when you do just choose, then something else occurs, and then you get to choose again, and then you get to choose again. And sometimes that choosing has mistakes in it, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's the listening and the trust.
Listening and the trust. Okay, so definitely a theme here. One of the things I just picked up.
Louise, can I ask her a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay, so I hear you say it was 5 years, and I knew I needed to get my stuff together, and I didn't. Did it ever come up for you where you felt like you were battling maybe with the thoughts of, oh no, did the window of opportunity, has it now passed? And if so, how did you overcome those thoughts?
Good question.
That's a great question. Because those thoughts still come up now. Like, oh no, I just lost it again. But you know, so many times through this is that I finally have realized that I'm intuitively, but also just that trusting, so aware of the future that I never thought I was ever aware of. And I'm like, sometimes I'm so far over there that people can't receive it yet. And so then it feels like this, like almost like being a gerbil on a hamster wheel, where I'm like, okay. But then it comes, I'm like, oh, it wasn't the time yet. And so for Yalonda, it's like, for me, it's been a lot of like getting out of the judgment of where I think what I'm thinking or my thoughts are wrong, and being like, what do I actually know? And I mean, honestly, it's really about getting out of the judgment. And there's not a quick and easy fix for that, except for stop. Like when you're in the moment of making yourself wrong, that you didn't jump fast enough, stop. And what do I know? And what has everybody and everything around me been telling me? That's pretty much what I mean, it really is. It's getting out of judgment and judgment of myself.
I like that. Just get out of the judgment.
I hear you, Trina, that, you know, you ask those questions of yourself and allowing yourself not to be in judgment of it. I am feeling, this is just a feeling, that the stuff that's happening on the planet right now is going to organically push you forward in the direction you need to go. And it may be about trusting that, you know, that you may need to just trust that, because just like changes with, we talked about earlier, even with schools, which, you know, you may be an entrepreneur listening here and you have kids, just like, you know, Yalonda does here. There's going to be shifting and changing. We just have to listen and accept and allow the changes that are coming around what that's going to look like in the future. We don't know, you know, we don't really know. Yeah. So it comes back down to that trust again and that faith. Yeah, that trust again and that faith.
Yeah. And being okay with not knowing.
And being okay with not knowing. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you made some awesome points here today on what entrepreneurs need to do during this time, the things that you've used to to pivot and shift your business.
You should trademark that.
I should. I like
what happened?
I just created a word.
Trina has rubbed off on you.
It's the new word we just created. It's funny because I was going to actually, my next question, I was going to ask you guys to end with like one powerful word. And I just created a word. It's shivit.
Yeah, that's the word.
Is that the word? It must be the word. Okay. Well, you know, our next question here is, what suggestion or, you know, piece of advice do you have for other entrepreneurs at this time? It's kind of different than what you already shared. You know, Sinclair, do you have a piece of advice or a tidbit here for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, just show up. Let it be messy. Let it be imperfect. Let it change. Just show up every freaking day, because this has created a vacuum right now where you can step in and expand in a big way if you show up.
Show up. Awesome. Thank you. Show up. How about you, Yalonda? What's one piece of advice you have right now for other entrepreneurs?
I'm going to pass on the advice from my mentor, which is stay in motion. You just have to keep going. Got to keep moving. So stay in motion.
Stay in motion. Awesome. Thank you for that. So stay in motion, show up. And Trina, what's a piece of advice you have for entrepreneurs at this time?
Okay. I would say laugh.
Laugh. Okay.
Laugh at yourself. Be willing to laugh at the moment and be in the moment. The biggest thing is about being in the moment. And some people would say live in 10 seconds, like live in 10-second increments, which just means be present with what is and choose at that moment. And sometimes the best thing you can do is laugh.
Just laugh. Beautiful. Laugh. I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, I would say trust your intuition. Trust your intuition and go with it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, such great advice and connection here. I love you all. You're amazing, powerful women, and the work you're doing in the world is so completely needed right now. And I hope that our audience can see your passion and also the gift that you're giving everyone, everyone in the world today, and all the breakthroughs that are happening for yourself, and being vulnerable to share those. So I thank you, and also for your people, for your clients, for the people that you work with. So thank you again for being here today. And until next time, have a great day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.